All right. So once you turn your computer on, you're going to come to the screen here, and you'll have 3 different icons, maybe 2, depending on what version of the machine you have. I'm going to go over all of the versions here so we can have it. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn, and you're going to use, first we got CAD, CAM. So you got CAD, CAM, and we either use Sheet Cam here, or we use ProNest LT. This is for either customer that you have. And then we have the Path Pro control. So we have CAD, CAM, cut, computer-aided drafting. This is where we're going to draw. And then we have CAM, the computer-aided machining. And then we also have cut, which is the Path Pro. That's what's going to take it to the machine. So we're going to start off. We have to do a couple of things. We're going to start off with the material that we're cutting with, and we're going to start in VCarve. So I'm going to click on VCarve here. I double click. It's going to open up. And I want you to do the same drawing I'm doing, just where you can kind of practice with this first initial cut. When you open up VCarve, you're going to see over here it says create new file. And when you pop that open, it's going to give you a canvas here. This is your canvas. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to figure out. Now, I'm going to measure. This is for routing, and this is also for plasma drawing. So you can do it for router or plasma. We're just creating a drawing here. So you have the width and the height, and the thickness doesn't matter on this one, and we need bottom left. So what I'm going to do is just measure real quick. And I'm cutting 3/16 material here. So I have the width is 13, and my height is 8, all right? So 13 wide. So I'm going to come over here in this, and I'm going to put 13 wide, and I'm going to put 8 high. All right, so that gives me my canvas there, and it looks like my part there. So it's a good way to kind of learn what you're doing. You always hit bottom left here, and when you hit bottom left, you press OK. Once you press OK, we're going to draw a square. So we're going to click on the draw rectangle. There's another video that you can watch that will show you all of what this means. Also, you can go to the help menu here. And that help menu has video tutorials on how to draw, all kinds of stuff. You can go to the website, check that out. But also in your documents, you have a training document on how to draw for plasma on there. So you'll draw a rectangle, click on that, and you'll have this beautiful little wizard pop up, and you say, I want a 4-inch by 4-inch square. All right. So we're going to do 4-inch by 4-inch square, and that's easy. Just select it and put 3 there, and there you go. If I want to change it back, I put 4. There we go. So 4 by 4. So now what I'm going to do is just go somewhere on the screen here, and I'm going to left click on my mouse, and that gives me a nice square. All right. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the circle here. I'm going to click on the circle, and I'm going to do a diameter of 1 inch. Okay, a 1-inch diameter. And I'm going to go to the center of this square here. And as you notice, if I'm here, you have a little bit of different action going on right there. And if I get to the center, you'll see a different thing pop up, like a bullseye. That means you're in center. So now you just left click on the button, and now you have a hole in the center. So now I have a 4 by 4 square with a hole in the center. So once you get that, you're going to go, okay, I want to cut that out. So I'm going to select it, and I did that by left clicking, and I just kind of drag my mouse over it. Or I can right click, select all vectors. So once I select everything, I'm going to export it as a DXF. So I go File to the top, Export as a DXF. And this is the drawing that we're going to take into SheetCam, or we'll take it into ProNest LT. So I'm going to label this Test Cut Training. All right. Once I save it, I'm just going to save it onto my desktop here. just so you can see it. And then I'm going to close this out. So now we're done with the CAD side. So we have our drawing. Now we're going to open up Sheet Cam. So we went from CAD to CAM. So we're going to open up Sheet Cam. We double click on that. We'll do a video also for ProNest LT. But ProNest LT, all of their training for ProNest LT is on the Hypertherm website. You should get an email with that. If you haven't got an email on that, you can call us and we can make sure you get that email. But it has your subscription number, and then you log on for all the training videos for that. But once you open up, you're going to see all of this will be pre-set up for you if you have SheetCam. You're going to go File at the top, Import Drawing, and we're going to go pick that drawing we just got a hold of, and we saved it on the desktop. Make sure you remember where you saved it. So I said test and I named it training. So here it is. We're going to double click on that. And when it pops up, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use inches and we're going to use bottom left. And then you just press OK. And if you notice, bottom left on this picture here is right here in the corner. So if you come back up here to the top, it says bottom left. That's where we'll zero our torch here in a minute. And you'll see all of this once we reference the machine and get to it. So now that we have that there, we're going to go over to this little bitty icon on the side over here. It says create a new jet cutting process. I always say that it's like a magic torch. And so we're going to create the magic here. So we go File, Import Drawing, and we hit Create the Magic. So when we create the magic, you have a pop-up here. And this pop-up is just a word problem. And we're going to fill out everything in this word problem. So we're going to do an outside offset. And what that means is when we cut, we want this to cut on the outside of this line. It's kind of like kerf on a skill saw. Which side of the line do you want to cut on? Well, on this part, we want to cut on the outside because we want it to be the true dimensions that we set up. But notice that if we go an outside on this line, this right here, we want it to go an inside cut. And so what we do, this software automatically recognizes that. So we go outside offset, and we're going to go which layer. We'll talk about layers in another video. You click layer, whatever it is, make sure all of that highlight's white, and then you'll come down here and you'll say lead ins and lead outs. You'll tell it how long you want the lead in and lead out, and I got 1/4 inch lead in, 1/4 inch lead out. And what that means is it'll pierce in the center, and it'll lead in, and it'll come around and lead out. And then you come over and press OK. Once that happens, you're going to hit this. That means we're ready to start cutting, so we need to make sure this is on the material here. And so what we do is hit that move button at the top, which says nesting. And I click once on the screen, and I'm going to hit these arrow keys here and go bump once, bump over again, and that gets me a little bit off. So once I zero, I know I'll come in about an 1/8 inch bump, and I know that my part is on the material, and you'll see that in the next part of the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. I'm going to go export. Up here at the top, you'll see a green P that sends it to the green machine. Well, our machines are not green anymore. They used to be. It was Easy Plasma. And so I always tell people to hit the green P to take it to the green machine. So we're going to hit that. We're going to pop it open. Now, we're going to have to save everything you save. You have to save it. You'll see a file folder. Once you export out of ProNest or out of SheetCam, you have to make sure that you're saving it in this Cut Files program, or you will not be able to find it to pull it up. So we're going to open that up. I'm going to call Test Training, and we see the name of it, and it's in that file folder called Cut Files, and I'm going to save. There's no problems. If there's a problem, it'll show you. Shouldn't have any problems if you follow the video. Now we're going to close out of that. It says, do you want to save the settings on, not on this one? All right, so now we've got CAD, we got CAM done, now we're going to cut. So we're going to double click on this icon. When you double click on the icon, you're going to see a pop-up come up. And this is good for technical support. Here we go. Double click on there. I wasn't clicking properly on there. Now I have a little box that pops up. That's real life, folks, getting it all here. You'll see the controller comes up, and it's connecting with the controller over there. So once it does, it pulls out the old programming. And notice it says, please run homing. That means, let me show you the machine here for a minute. This machine does not know where it's at, so it was just turned on. So you may have a 4 foot by 4 foot machine, 48 by 48, or 48 by 96, or 60 by 120. Either way, whatever size machine you have, this machine has to go back and hit limits. So if it's here in the middle of the table, it'll take forever once you hit homing. So let me show you a secret. What we're going to do is use the arrow keys. And on here, the arrow keys are facing this direction here. So I'm going to move the machine back just a little bit slowly until I get used to it. I'm hitting the up arrow, and I'm moving back, and then page up, page down moves the torch up and down. Okay? And I'm going to keep moving back slowly. If I go right and left, it moves my torch. So just do it gently until you figure out. We're going to move it back to the back right corner. And then we reference this as the back right corner. And this corner over here is the front left corner. So when we say 0, when we load a whole sheet up here, we'll still 0 in this corner. And that's the back corner when you're talking to technical support. So I'm going to go ahead and move this all the way back. And I'm going to move it over to the right. And what's going to happen when I hit this, let me kind of show you your limit switches here. You'll hear a phrase saying, if you call technical support, they'll say, if you go all the way back and you push in these limits, you'll have a warning that comes up and says, you're on your X limit. That means you're on the limit right here, right? Or if that says you're on your Y limit, it means you're right here on that limit. And there's another one on the other side over there. So we want to make sure when you go to reference that you are not on any limits. If you see Z limit, that means you're way up here, and you have to jog the torch head down a little bit. So that's a little bit of tech for you. So you make sure you're back to the back corner, and then you'll see when I hit reference all home, we'll come here and you'll hit reference all home. And you'll see what happens when I hit that. So the Z goes up, it touches the limit switch, and then the X comes over and touches the limit switch, and then it moves back and touches the limit switch. Okay, so once that happens, we're going to jog the machine with the arrow keys to this corner right here, because we just drew this. And we're going to turn our laser pointer on. Our laser pointer is on the screen, right there. Oh. And so now, we're going to jog up. There's your laser pointer. And I'm going to jog over to the left, right in the corner, to the edge of that, and I'm going to move back here. Once I move back and I'm happy with that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to 0 my X on the screen. I'm going to 0 my Y, and I'm going to 0 my Z. And I'm telling the software that I want to start right here at this corner, all right? And it's saying, here's where the corner is. That's what the 0 is doing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load my G code, because this is an old code. It always brings up the last code that you cut. So I'm going to load the G code, and I'm going to look for test cut, what was it? Training. Test training. Always remember to name your parts something you can remember. So test training. So I pull that up. It shows me, hey, is this what I'm looking at? I say yes. I come over here and I hit the checkbox. Once you hit the checkbox, now I'm going to come over here to the cut chart. I'm going to hit the cut chart button, and it's going to pop up. Now this is for your hypertherm plasma. This gives it what thickness material. So you're going to come over here and say, I want to cut the best quality. I want to cut mild steel. I'm cutting 3/16 mild steel, so I click on that. And then I'm using 45 amp consumable, and I click on that. Once I do that, it shows me the part numbers right here. And so all I have to do is look on the torch. This is inside here. Look at your Hypertherm manual to learn the maintenance on the Hypertherm. And you have your part number. Make sure your part number here matches what's on here. If you don't, the cut quality will not be the same. So what we'll do is we say, yes, this is right. We confirm everything. We load it. And we say check. And once I check in, I check out of that. And now I'm going to do what we call a check part fit. So if you'll look at there, when I hit check part fit, it's going to move and give me just a basic outline. And I want to make sure that torch stays on there. That means I zeroed correctly. Then what I want to do is I'm going to run cycle start. When I hit cycle start, it's going to start the process. So hitting cycle start now. So it'll come across. It's going to do a pierce. Lead ins and lead out. And there you go. Quick little part you're looking at. Don't have the gloves on me here, but you can see the part. And there's